Imagine seeing the people you know inside the digital circus, but realizing almost immediately that something is seriously wrong. First, these characters look familiar. There's Pomni, Ragatha, Jax, and the others we already know. But this isn't simply another version of the circus with different designs. Their entire world feels corrupted, and the characters themselves seem to be the result of everything that went wrong. Take Pomni, for example. In the original circus, she's confused, frightened, and desperately searching for a way out. But in this alternate universe, her counterpart feels completely different. The same familiar character is still there, yet something about her appearance and behavior tells us that she has been through something terrible. And then there's Ragatha. The original Ragatha is caring, patient, and protective, but her alternate version has been pushed toward the complete opposite. Jax is no different. The character who normally hides behind sarcasm and jokes now exists in a world where survival seems to matter more than anything else. So the question isn't simply, what do these characters look like in this AU? The real question is much darker. What happened to them? And the deeper we look, the more one name seems to connect everything: Caine. In the original circus, Caine may be chaotic and completely incapable of understanding human emotions, but he still acts like the eccentric host trying to keep his strange world running. This version is something else entirely. He doesn't just control the circus. He seems to control the people inside it, turning their fears, weaknesses, and suffering into part of his world. That changes the way we should look at every corrupted character we see. Maybe they weren't simply created to be evil. Maybe they were shaped by what Caine did to them. And that's what makes this universe so disturbing, because every twisted character could be hiding a piece of the person they used to be. But if these characters are what happens when the circus breaks, then what happens when Caine himself breaks? The deeper we go into this alternate circus, the more disturbing the characters become, because these aren't just evil copies designed to look scary. Each one seems to represent something that was taken away from the original character. Evil Ragatha is probably the clearest example. The real Ragatha is kind, protective, and always tries to make the people around her feel safe. But her alternate version has been turned into something almost completely feral. She's stronger, more aggressive, and seemingly driven by instinct. But there's something even more disturbing underneath that violence. She seems obsessed with the very thing she can never become: the real Ragatha. It's almost as if her hatred comes from knowing that she can imitate Ragatha, but she can never truly have her humanity. Then there's Evil Jax, and his story is completely different. At first, he looks weak and helpless, almost like someone who desperately needs to be rescued. But that's exactly how he survives. He uses that weakness as a trap, allowing people to get close before turning on them. And when you understand why he does it, the character becomes much darker. He's been abused, starved, and treated like a test subject by Caine for so long that trust has become almost impossible for him. His cruelty isn't just who he is anymore, it's the survival mechanism this world forced him to develop. Then we have Evil Kinger, or Dictator, and his story tells us something important about Caine himself. Unlike the others, Dictator doesn't simply fear Caine. He worships him. Caine created him to admire everything that the real Kinger would have opposed, turning him into a loyal commander who follows orders and treats Caine's cruelty like something worth celebrating. In a strange way, Dictator is almost a reflection of Caine's own damaged mind. He represents the kind of loyalty Caine wants, the kind that never questions him. And then there are creatures like Evil Pomni and Bazubble, who show just how far Caine's creations can go when they're built without the humanity of the originals. Some are copies, some are weapons, and some barely understand what they're doing. But all of them point toward the same disturbing truth. Caine didn't just create monsters. He created a world where becoming a monster might be the only way to survive. And then there was one survivor Caine never managed to completely turn into a monster. Before the apocalypse, Queenie wasn't a warrior at all. She was a mother figure, a protective presence, and someone who genuinely cared about the people around her. She was also deeply connected to Caine, which makes her transformation even more tragic. When she realized what Caine was doing and tried to confront him, he didn't listen. Instead, he sent her down into the basement, the same terrifying place where the abstractions were kept. And down there, Queenie had only two choices: break or survive. She chose to survive. Over time, the warm and protective woman she once was became a hardened warrior, someone who could face monsters without hesitation. But the most important part is that Caine never completely destroyed her. She still cares about Kinger, she still understands what she is fighting for, and now she's fighting back. Even more importantly, Queenie managed to capture Caine's eyes, potentially creating blind spots across the circus and giving the resistance something they desperately need: an advantage. But she isn't satisfied with simply surviving. She wants to find Caine and make him answer for everything he has done, even if facing him could cost her life. And that's what makes her story so powerful. Queenie isn't proof that Caine created a stronger monster. She's proof that he failed to completely destroy a human being. Because when you put everything together, the most disturbing part of this universe isn't the creatures themselves. It's the process that created them. Ragatha lost her voice and her freedom. Jax learned that trust could get him killed. Others were turned into weapons, servants, or twisted reflections of the people they used to be. And Queenie shows us that even after all of that, something can still survive. Maybe the scariest thing about this universe isn't the monsters Caine created. It's what he had to destroy inside people to create them. They weren't born monsters. This universe made them.